Hi, I'm with Mike Partridge, the president of Advanced Adapters. I've had a great tour of the plant. I've seen a whole variety of equipment that's been added and online. This place is bustling. I'd like to talk for a few minutes with Mike. Mike, you're really busy in the shop. What's your perspective on what's going on with the industry as a whole?
We could have a phone call today that sells, or the phone calls could be coming in that are selling atlases, and next week it could be roof crawlers, and next week it's bell housings and transfer case adapters. So we have a good staff and a well-equipped shop to kind of meet our needs.
What struck me, and I was really pleased, you have a variety of product out there, some of which goes back to the inception of Advanced Adapters. You still have a market for the early Jeep product. I don't know what the volume is, and maybe that's not even the point, but there's still a demand for everything from the flat fender era all the way through the JKs, right up to the leading technology like V8 transplants that are the buzz for the JK and the TJ Wranglers.
It is pretty amazing, when gas prices rise, the overdrives, the Saturn, which was the old Warren overdrive, sales pick up. We manufacture the Ranger torque splitter. It's an overdrive for the full-size trucks and Land Cruisers. Sales pick up on that when gas goes up. Gas comes down, engine conversions go up. So it just is a ever-changing market. You wouldn't think there's a lot of SM420s out there. We sell still a lot of SM420 adapters. It's a market for us to capture.
I noticed in the product too that your setup, your tooling is just state-of-the-art. And I've noticed that you're set up to, when you get a demand for given products, immediately go into production on that product so that you can deliver to the customer. And I know one of your overall objectives has always been customer fulfillment and making sure that you get product to the customer in a reasonable amount of time. Customers now understand from the tour of the shop that there's so many variables with things like the Atlas transfer case in terms of a particular application or whatever, that even though someone might feel it's on the shelf, it might be a one-off application that will take a little more time to produce. Do you care to comment on that?
One-off items and stuff, we don't do as many of those as we used to in the past. A small production run for us may be 10 a year or something like that, and we'll do a couple year supply of components for that. We carry the inventory, but there's over, I think we have about 3,500 to 4,000 different components out on the shelves right now, and it's the nature of our company that we have to have the different components between all the different automatic, manual transmissions and all the different just applications that we fit our components into. We have to have the different diversity of parts on there. So it does take some time. It takes some time to schedule the parts into the shop, and it'd be really nice to have parts turn around within a month or within a few weeks. But we're doing larger runs of product, trying to stock the shelves so we aren't running out of parts as fast as we have in the past. The day and age of the internet, our store is online 24/7, so people are shopping, and you can come in after weekend, and product that you wouldn't normally sell is all of a sudden a hot ticket item over the weekend, and may not have had a whole lot of that in stock. So all of a sudden that's the new hot production item in the shop. So it's like I say, it's a very challenging proposition for us to always trying to keep on top of our maximum levels of inventory.
One of the things that struck me in the shop is how much you do in-house. It's very clear to me that this is USA-made product. It's very clear to me that you have a payroll here of American workers, and I'm pleased to see that. You've always stood for quality, that's a given, but to be able to stay in your shop facility and continue to deliver this quality with your own workforce right here in the US is really commendable.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and the economy, it's one of those things where you're always having to keep an eye on what's going on around you, and we've been lucky enough to have a diverse product that when the economy's bad, people are fixing up vehicles, so it's actually keeps us fairly busy as far as for the avid consumer to fix a vehicle rather than go out and buy a new vehicle. When the economy's good, there's putting money into their vehicle and putting the toys on a Jeep or whatever to make it perform a little bit better. So it's been a really good product line that kind of withstands the good and the bad economies. We've diversified out into foreign markets, which has been a real big improvement for us over the last couple of years. So, like I say, it's definitely just kind of watching what you're doing and how you operate the business, and like I say, in this economy, and especially even in California, it's definitely a challenge to stay on top of it.
Ironically, at a time when you'd think that high performance or V8 conversions would be falling off in some cases, especially with Jeep vehicles, you get better mileage with a V8 conversion than you did with the original engine. Given that, even when the economy was bad, people became even more fuel conscious. And so I would think that actually drove some sales maybe of conversions.
Sure. It's and there again, it's people, engines get tired, the 4-cylinders, 6-cylinders, and when you look at what a new car costs from a car lot versus a conversion, and the fuel savings on there, doesn't take much to look at doing an engine swap and seeing that it'll pay for itself in the long run. It may not be the first year or the first couple of years, but the longevity of it will definitely pay for itself.
Amortization of the cost is probably at a faster pace than the depreciation on a new vehicle.
Yeah, I'd much rather buy a Jeep or a vehicle that has a V8 in it already swapped than buy something that's got a tired 4-cylinder little V6 or something in there.
That raises an interesting point, and I never thought of it from that angle, but your products have such brand recognition and stand for quality. The resale of a vehicle that's been equipped with your products, your conversion engine, an Atlas transfer case, or whatever, actually would be an asset to the seller, wouldn't it?
Sure. It's one of those things that we see a lot of times on Craigslist. They'll list, the different products that they've had an engine conversion from us, or one of our transfer cases, or one of our gearboxes. So, it is listed as one of the pieces of equipment and a lot of the items, as far as when they list lifts and tires, it's definitely advanced adapters is listed on there also.
That must give you satisfaction to know that your product carries that kind of weight, that people think of it as an asset and something that's superior to original equipment.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I'd like to thank Mike and the rest of the staff at Advanced Adapters for this opportunity to get to know the shop better, to revisit it in its current form with the new tooling. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Moses.